Hello, welcome to this weather update. It's May the 20th. It's a little after 9:30 and somewhat active day for some parts of our area today. Nothing severe here on Long Island unless you were right onto the South Shore. We did have a couple of storms pass us to the south and bring us some interesting skies. This was a pretty strong storm that was just offshore that passed by around 5 o'clock. And then we had another storm. Let's another look at it there. Um, we had another storm though come through, and again, these are just some of the clouds here that were associated with that storm. But now this is a little later now. This is more like after 6 o'clock, and there was another. We're going to look at the radar in a minute. There was a line that literally just developed like just west of New York City that aimed toward the South Shore, and they had a special marine warning out. And we did actually, literally, a shelf cloud, just like it looked nothing. It didn't look like anything was going on in the sky because it was dark, and then boom, we got a shelf cloud. What just happened there? Boom. Let's see. Where's the shelf cloud? There it is. There it is. And there you go. So look at that. Shelf cloud just developed right there. Of course, it happened when I was eating, but there you go. You see that shelf. Now, it was raining at the time this shelf cloud was over us, so it really wasn't the easiest. It wasn't the clearest shelf cloud, but you can clearly see that there was a shelf cloud ahead of this storm system. All right, so let's close these pictures down. And we did get some heavy rain, too, with it. There you go. You can see some heavy rain right there. Oh, this is the other picture. So I knew I was forgetting a picture. A little Mattis there. This was with the first storm that passed us by to the south. And we did get a downpour around that. So let's look at the radar. We're going to rewind the radar and talk about what happened today. And we're going to go actually back to 2 o'clock. You can see here's the activity over in Pennsylvania. And they actually wound up issuing a tornado watch for eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So you can see here 2:50, 3 o'clock. We move this along. And you can see this cell here is the first cell that our area had to deal with. And it looks like it went over northern Monmouth County, southern Middlesex County. This is 4 o'clock here. And then you can see how it just passed by to the south of us, just offshore here. We did have a rain shower around this time, around 4:30 or so. And then that moved on, and then we just had light rain. And then it was this next area that kind of blossomed here. This area here, I think, was it that area? Yeah, it was this area that blossomed. So you can see it looked kind of weak and there was a little small area, but look what happened. This is 4:50, right? We go to 5:20. Look at that, starting to gather a little strength. Doesn't look all that bad, but then once we get to 6 o'clock, look at it. We'll actually rewind this a little more. It started getting more intense as it got to went over New York City. So this is 5:30, and then you can see this is at 5:50 now. You can see it's west of us. And actually, and this radar doesn't show it that much well, but there was like a bowing that was going on, a bowing that was going on right over the South Shore, right over in this part of the line here, which was indicating some strong winds. We got a breeze where I was, but it wasn't really a severe thunderstorm. We just got the heavy rain and a little bit of lightning. But the rain was pretty intense, and it's going to be interesting to see how much rain we got because that rain did come down pretty good. So this is 6 o'clock here. So I guess it was more like 6 o'clock that it hit. Yeah, around 6 o'clock. And it was still going, 6:30. It was still going. And then you could see it move across the island here. But still some strong parts there. It hit along Suffolk County on the South Shore, east of Patchogue there. And then it finally moved out, and the rain finally tapered off after 8 o'clock tonight. But we're going to now look and see how much rain we got from these cells and the current conditions as well. We're going to start with the current conditions across our area. And you can see heat advisories are in effect for New York City and New Jersey. And it looks like air quality alerts are in effect for our area right now. Temperatures have risen now. We're in the mid-60s. That was a warm front, I believe, that came through. If we check at the weather map, here's the satellite, by the way. And again, look at that. You can see, let me make this a little longer of a loop here so you can see the line here on the satellite here develop here. And again, it was impressive how this kind of just developed. You can see there it is right there. It's impressive how it developed once it got to that. It's rare to see a thunderstorm actually pop right over New York City like that, or just to the west of New York City. But that's exactly what happened. So let's go back to our weather map here, and you can see the conditions out there right now. We are 64 at Islip, dew point 64. So that was the warm front, I believe. So if we look at the weather Prediction Center weather map, I believe. Yep. Actually, 2 warm fronts. This was the other warm front, but this was the warm front here that triggered these storms. And that's what's going to be moving through and bringing us. It's already through, I believe. And we're in that warm sector right now. And if we look here at the observations from iSlope, I think you can see that. Yeah, because earlier on, you can see we were in the mid-60s, but the dew points were a little lower, all right? But then look what happened once the line passed. The dew points went up quite a bit. It may just be due to the rainfall, but I believe that might have been an indication there of that warm front coming through. All right, so 64 at iSlope, dew point 64. Wow, even warmer in Lakehurst, 68. It's going to see what they were like today. Let's see. I bet you they were warmer today than we were. Oh, yeah. They got into the 70s, mid-70s, so much warmer in Jersey. A little more heat. That may have been what helped fuel the storm. So let's look at the highs today and the amount of precipitation that we had. So, and we'll also go to the underground site, too. So 68 at Islip, 70 at Farmingdale. But you can see, look at how much warmer it was in Jersey. 78 west of Toms River for a high. Right on the shore, it was a little cooler. But look, you go a little bit inland here. The Philadelphia suburbs, well into the 80s. So this is what we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. That's that warm air right there. And that was a little bit of a warm front, I think, that helped trigger those thunderstorms that we had. So let's look at the precipitation. And, in fact, I want to just go right to the underground site because we all know how that site is. And also, the problem is it doesn't really have that many stations. We really want to look at more stations to see how much rain we got today. Because where these storms hit, it looks like it put down a half an inch of rain. So everybody got pretty much a half an inch of rain out of it. So, but I look at the beach though here. Point Lookout got a little more. Wouldn't surprise me if offshore, if there was a rain gauge offshore, some of those storms are pretty intense. Probably got an inch or two out of it, probably. But that's out over the ocean. You can see a lot less for the East End. And let's see how New Jersey did with the rainfall. Yeah, you can see they got a little more closer to 3/4 of an inch, and because they got both those storms in this area here of those 2 storms. You can see almost some numbers get approaching an inch there around New Brunswick. But as you go south toward Toms River, absolutely nothing. So Toms River actually missed out on all the storms. So we just went to the north of Toms River today. So let's go to the models, and now we deal with the heat. And talking about the heat, this ridge that we're going to be dealing with as we head into tomorrow. And you can see after that rain passes, we're going to have dry weather tomorrow. And then for Sunday, also dry, but hot. It's going to be hot. And again, we have to watch that wind flow, which we'll look at in a moment. You can see this is a cold front that's going to come through Monday, but it's going to get a little hung up to the south. And this is the problem. It's going to keep clouds around. But at least it'll be cooler and more comfortable. But then that high, once again, transitions back over to the Bermuda high there. And you can see it looks like another hot setup as we head in the month there with that ridge in the position that it's in. We have that Atlantic ridge in place. So let's go look at the jet stream, and that's what I want to do next. So, because I actually forgot to do that on the last weather update. I was so preoccupied with the heat, but we'll explain to you why we're dealing with the heat. So here's the jet stream currently, and you can see this huge ridge here, and that's what's bringing the heat toward us. And you can see this jet stream is just completely out of whack here. So you can see still got this ridge in the east, and the jet stream is just really messed up here during this period. You can see no troughs in the east and just lots of ridges and a very weak jet stream, which spells one thing for us. We're going to be dealing with some above normal temperatures. So as we get into tomorrow, we're above. This is the ridge again. There's that ridge keeping the above normal, and this ridge just doesn't go anywhere. Get a little trough tries to come through, but this ridge is going to sit here for a while. Look at it. As we get toward the end of the month, we could see more heat. It's not a good pattern at all. Not a good pattern at all. So if we go to the CONUS view and look at our temperature anomaly chart, here we are into tomorrow, and you'll see that way above normal, the bright reds across our area there. You see there's some cool air in the Midwest there, so they're going to get some relief from the heat. And in fact, Denver is actually getting a blizzard. That's how crazy things are. So he's getting the Monday. Here comes that front. We'll have a little bit of a cool down. But then the heat's probably going to start building again. Yep, there it is. So you get to the end of the period, more heat again. Here we are. So If you want that cool air, well, Midwest is probably going to be the place to be for the weekend. That looks like the place to be. Anywhere from Texas, Oklahoma, Denver. They're going to be in some cool. Well, Denver's going to have snow on the ground, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, this is what you have when you have a jet stream that's completely out of whack. So let's go and look at the HRRR model for tomorrow. I guess we'll start with that. So the rain is out of here. We're not going to be dealing with any rain. And you can see the isobars there indicating a southwest wind. And we'll have to take a look and see how that wind field goes. Now here comes that cold front later Sunday. Could touch on some thunderstorms. This is the HRRR, and it's a representation of the cold front. But I think we're not going to really have a good idea until tomorrow night, and a little more an idea of what this cold front could bring as far as any severe weather goes. Let's go and look at our dew points and our wind flows. So here we are, southerly wind flow. As we go into tomorrow, you'll see a weak southerly flow, but then it becomes almost northwesterly in the morning. So no sea breeze at all. And then finally the sea breeze develops later in the afternoon. You can see brings relief to the south shore first. And you can see these dew points are going to be high. This is the HRRR again, saying dew points could be near 70, which is really unusual for May. And then Sunday, similar deal. We have a similar deal, but I think the sea breeze will be a little more pronounced with a southerly wind there. And again, you can see there's that cold front approaching right there. Right, so this is the HRRR. All right, so let's go to let's go to the temperatures and see what the HRRR gives us for temperatures for tomorrow. Kind of afraid to look, but here you go. It has most of the heat over New Jersey, so it looks like New Jersey, especially the southern part, will be in the 90s. Northern part in New York City around 90. Nassau County well into the 80s. We may not see a 90-degree reading here in Nassau County. We'll have to see. But you can see here. Look at what happens in the afternoon there. There's the sea breeze. Look at how pronounced that sea breeze is. You can see. Look at that. Boom. The South Shore is the place to be. It'll bring relief. They'll go down to the 70s and then even the 60s. And, right around that 6, 7 o'clock, you could have a huge difference between, you could have 90 in Toms River and it could be 68 at Islip. All right. That wouldn't surprise me if that happens. And even in Nassau County, central Nassau, we cool down. It's still going to be humid. You're still going to need the air conditioner. And then it doesn't really cool down very much tomorrow night. Temperatures only into the 60s. That's at a mid to upper 60s. And some areas in Jersey may not even get below that. And then on Sunday, slightly cooler for Long Island, starting off with the highs. But I think it's going to be very similar. And then you'll see that sea breeze come in later on in the day, dropping temperatures into the 70s. I still think we're going to see 80 or better both days in most areas on Long Island, unless you're right on the South Shore. And then it'd just be a little bit cooler in Jersey on Sunday with temperatures near 90 instead of versus in the 90s. But you can see there is that cold front coming through. So I want to go to the GFS next, and we will see how the GFS does. Whoops. All right, I'm just clumsy. All right, just get used to it. So here's the GFS. The dew points, not quite as bad, but you see the wind flow. Definitely got more of that westerly wind flow tomorrow, so that's why I'm thinking the first part of the day is going to still be pretty hot, and then it'll get better in the afternoon. Sunday, you can still see a southwesterly wind flow, so it's enough to bring some relief to Long Island, but this is, again, the dew points. But you can see here what happens with this front. Here you go, Monday. The front goes through, but it kind of gets hung up to the south, so we get into kind of an easterly flow, which may keep some clouds around. All right. So let's go to the temperatures. So here are the temperatures on the GFS, and you can see similar to the HRRR, fairly similar, but you can still see it still is maybe a small area in the middle of the island near the North Shore getting close to 90, 80s elsewhere for highs, and New Jersey are in the 90s, and then for Sunday, slightly better. Slightly cooler, but both days are still going to be pretty summer-like and very unusual. And look at the contrast between these two air masses. So brutal weekend, but luckily by Monday it's over, and we're down to 70 degrees. And then Tuesday, we're going to have highs generally around 70, so even a little bit below normal. So and then the heat starts building as we head again toward the end of the next week. Now, if we just run this all the way through to next weekend, toward the end of the month, you'll start seeing that heat build again. Look at this. Look at this. June 1st could be really brutal. So, and again, that's a ways away, but it's this summer could be very hot. Every summer is going to just get progressively worse. And I don't even want to think about how dangerous New York City is going to get in this heat. But it's not going to be good at all. Not only New York City, not the place to be. The place to be on the South Shore, or the place to really be, is probably up in like New Brunswick or something, Canada. Let's go to the skies next, I guess. Well, we look at the heat. We'll go to the skies. We'll use the RGEM model for this. So, starting off with clouds tomorrow, then the sun comes out, and it's going to be brutal. Maybe some low clouds and fog along the south shore. I think that burns off. I think all of us are going to see sunshine tomorrow, probably hazy sunshine. And then we'll see sunshine again on Sunday with maybe a few high clouds, contrails in the sky. And then here comes this front. You can see what happens, though. Kind of gets hung up, so we're not going to really clear out behind it. We'll have partly sunny skies, probably, with some cirrus and maybe some mid-level clouds there behind it. We can also use the NAM. Now, the RGEM didn't do so well with the clouds today, so we're going to look at the NAM, which is a little hard, having a little more trouble getting rid of the clouds. They don't really burn off until later in the afternoon, which could help keep things cooler as well. Sunday, similar deal. This is what the NAM looks like as far as the skies go. And then if we go to the GFS, which is a low-resolution model, of course, you'll see the clouds kind of just hang around for us, unfortunately. So a clear, dry day, I don't know when that's going to happen. I can't tell you when. I cannot tell you when. So let me go to the Event2 Sky site, and we're going to go look at the temperatures with this as well as we push this into tomorrow here. So let's start around noon tomorrow. This is using the HRRR model. All right, so around noon, we're already approaching 80 degrees. Look at Jersey, and this shows the wind flow, too, which I like. Just baking there, all right? We'll move this along to 2 o'clock. That's when things really start heating up. You can see temperatures reaching well into the 80s across much of Long Island, unless you're right on the South Shore, and you'll see some relief right there, maybe even some fog over there, all right? And Jersey, oddly enough, it's developing a sea breeze along the Jersey Shore, which has times over at 66. That I'm not buying. I don't think that's going to happen. But it could happen. It could happen. So here we are at 4 o'clock. Sea breeze gets stronger. And look at this. This would be pretty crazy. So if you're in the eastern part of Toms River, you might be dealing with some fog and 50s. And if you go to the west part of Toms River, you're in the 80s. In that top 80s near 90. For Long Island, it looks like it's starting to drop the temperatures along the South Shore, southern part into the 70s. And this is, again, 6 o'clock now. And you can see much of Long Island is now dropped into the 60s and even 50s. If this happens, this would be great, especially in this part of the South Shore here. Meanwhile, if you're in Jersey, you're going to still... I'm not buying having such a strong sea breeze here. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm curious. Let me go to clouds. Let me see if it's showing a fog bank. Yes, it is. So it's showing a fog bank. That's why it's keeping these South Shore areas cooler, even though Suffolk County is showing a fog bank. So if there is a fog bank, that'll help save the day along the beaches. So you might have sunshine inland, but you might wind up going to the beach and running into fog. It's very hard to predict whether this happens or not. It may just burn off in this model, maybe overdoing the fog, perhaps. It's very hard to tell what's going to happen. But the dew point temperature is well above the water temperature offshore. So that is what we have. I mean, if you look at the humidity here and look at our dew points, you'll see dew points are well into the 60s, almost 70-degree dew points here. All right, so when you couple that in with the water temperatures being where they are, like if we go to earthandlowschool.net and look at our ocean temperatures right now, and our actual ocean temperatures. So we'll go ahead and look at that. Sea surface temperatures offshore are, all right, let's see. We have 53 degrees. You might not be able to see it. I'd have to pull this out a little bit more. We have 53 degrees there water temperature offshore. So, and that's still a little bit above normal, but that is much colder than the dew point of the air. So that's going to create fog. And that could cause some fog. But if we look at the sea surface temperature anomalies, actually, we actually have water that's actually a little bit below normal offshore. A little bit. 5 degrees are below normal, really? So, yeah, for a change, we have some cold weather. This could help save us from the heat, this cold water here. So it's interesting. I don't know why we have that. I'm thinking maybe there's been some upwelling or something. So, hey, again, that'll help us along the shore and, relieve us from the heat. You know. Nobody wants to deal with this heat. Well, some people love the heat, but it's not normal for it to be this hot. That's the thing. So let me go back to the weather and hazards map, and I just want to talk about what's going on out west because it's very unusual. So you can see this red flag warning here, but if you look north of that, you have all these winter storm warnings in effect, and they're getting lots and lots of snow in some of these places. I mean, look at this, temperatures in the 20s. 20s. All right? It's crazy the amount of snow. They're getting snow out here. Temperatures in the 20s. So this is pretty crazy that this is happening here. We have all these warnings in effect. Let's see. I'm just clicking on to get the warning here. Hard freeze warning. Winter storm warning. Winter weather advisories. Frost advisories. So very unusual to see this. Again, it just shows how out of whack things are with the jet stream. Of course, I wish that was us. I wish we would be getting into that cold air, but we're not. Yeah, let me go and look at the radar, AccuWeather radar, and we're going to look at, show you what's going on out there. This is the complex offshore, by the way. Still going. But if we go here and look at the storm, here you go. Here it is. And there's Denver right there, and they're getting lots of snow in Denver. If we go to the Weather Services website for Denver, which we're going to do right now, you will see that they got snow and snow. Let's see how much snow that they're calling for in Denver, Colorado, because they actually had a map of it. So here we go. So this is their forecast, and yeah, this is pretty crazy. So the city itself will only get 4 to 6 inches, but still, it's late May, very interesting. The mountains, though, look at how much snow they could get. Man, that's the place to be right now. If you hate the heat, that is the place to be. Tell you. And they do have pines there, too, so if I had the money to go there, I would get away from this heat. Though there is going to be a lot of snow on the ground, so I'm not in love with the snow, all right? But the snow would melt, and, and now come Sunday, it's just going to be sunny. And, I mean, if you look at the forecast for Colorado Springs, all right? So they're predicting, look at that, 6 to 10 inches. Wow. All right, so Sunday, a chance of snow, let's see. Mostly cloudy. Still have still some chances of unsettled. It will be unsettled. It won't be sunny, I guess, but at least it'll be cold. It won't be hot. But 34 degrees in snow, that's insane. That's insane right there. That's pretty crazy, I gotta say. That is pretty crazy. So let me just go to the lightning. I'll just show you what's going on with these cells offshore. See if they're still producing a lot of lightning. Look at this. Wow. Still quite a bit of lightning out of those. That's quite unusual. That's quite unusual. So let me go to the power outage situation, and then we'll wrap up this weather update, seeing if these storms or any of this weather is causing any, there's 4,000 people out of power in Colorado, but the larger outages are in Michigan and Florida, I'm guessing, where they've had some thunderstorms. But anyway, I think that wraps up this weather update. It sucks the sky, it sucks the kind of pattern we're in with the ridge, but, welcome to summer in the East Coast here. If you want to have a nice, clear, dry day, I don't know what to say. Maybe go up into Canada, But at least we'll have improvement, and it will be more comfortable come Tuesday, even if we don't have mostly sunny sky. At least it'll be comfortable. Actually, it'll be more comfortable by Monday. So we just got to get through this weekend, and then we can get to breathe a sigh of relief before the next heat wave hits us. And it's only May, so I'm not looking forward to the summer. Did I tell you how much I hate summer? Well, I hate the way summers are now. I'd like a nice summer with temperatures in the 70s and maybe low 80s and low humidity and sunshine, dry air. That's the kind of summer I'd like. I've been waiting for that kind of summer since the 90s. I don't think it's going to happen. Not in the new climate. Not in the new climate, the real new normal that we should be talking about. That nobody is, of course. So that is going to wrap up this weather update. Thank you and have a good night.